You know, one of the most common objections you're probably going to hear is when people say they want to do your business, but they don't have the time, which always strikes me as ironic. I mean, did they not get the same 24 hours in a day that God gives you and I? I mean, certainly everyone has the time. It boils down to how are you prioritizing your use of time. As a matter of fact, in our week-long journey program, we have quite a section on prioritizing as it ties into time management. Someday you may get a chance to do that. But for now, we're just learning how to answer that objection. So first of all, what I would share with someone is like, wow, you don't have the time. Let me ask you a question. How long have you not had the time to do the things in life you wanted to do? Normally you get a response like, well, it's been a while, 3 years, 5 years, whatever the case might be. The longer the better. And say, now, no disrespect, but if you keep thinking the way you've been thinking and doing what you've been doing, you're going to obviously continue to get the same results. So with that in mind, are you looking forward to 5, 10, 15 years from now still not having time to do anything you really want to do? I'm always nice when I ask these questions and very genuine when I ask these questions. Well, no, of course not. You know, see, Mary, most people don't think of it that way. Most people are obviously so busy robbing from Peter to pay Paul, to meet their obligations, get their kids to practice on time, doing whatever they have to. They never stop and realize that if they don't change their action, they're never going to get their change of result. Now, you seem like an incredible young lady. I'd love to help you out. Would you like to have more time to do things you want to do? Now, if someone answers no there, you're dealing with someone who's not waste your time and next and move on. But obviously, most people are going to say, well, yeah, I would like to have the time. So the bottom line is you got to understand this business is all about time freedom. Right now, and I'll give you an example, a young lady I met and did this exact deal with in Alabama many, many years ago. I met her, she was selling ties in a mall. I was one of her 3 jobs while she was going to school full time, and said, I'd love to do your business, but I don't have the time. And I'm like, you know, I understand that, but let me ask you this. What if you were to leave of your 3 jobs, take the one you make the least amount of money on? How much is that? She made $7 an hour, working about 10, 15 hours a week. Great. Let's get rid of that one because it's an hourly job. And the bottom line is it's never going to grow exponentially. But over here, if you take those 7 to 10 hours a week you're putting into that, put them in over here, while there's no guarantee in our business you're going to make definite money, you could probably live without that $60 or $70 if you had to, couldn't you? Sure. I know you don't want to, but you could. But over here, we can quickly get your income up to $60 or $70 a week, I'm sure, working our business with our great product or service and our pay plan. But the key part would be, imagine is if you started getting people underneath you and they got customers and they got people underneath them and they got customers, and eventually working your 7 to 10 hours a week, you could end up having this one way of working replace the income you're making with all 3 jobs. Let me ask you a question. Wouldn't it be better for your schooling if you only had 1 job instead of all 3? Well, yeah, that would be a better scenario. Great. Then you got nothing to lose by quitting your least effective job and trying this part-time, do you? Well, no, I might as well. Long story short, she tried it. Within a short period of time, she was full-time in our business. She graduated. She got after this business. She was one of my top producers for many years. She's still a very dear friend of mine. So the bottom line is, I could have bought her excuse. She would have gone on her way, struggling and barely getting by, working 3 jobs, not having enough time for anything. Instead, she's now very healthy, very wealthy, very successful, very happy. And a lot of it has to do, by her own admission, by her interaction working with me together in this industry, the joy she got from network marketing, the training she got from network marketing, the income she made, and so on and so forth. So that's a really good way to handle that objection. Another way to handle the objection is, a good friend of mine tells a true story how many years ago he started his own little corporation. He was very busy. He had 3 children, married, young man, trying to keep it all together, working his own business. And a gentleman approached him and said, I have quite a business proposition for you. I respect you a lot, and I just need about an hour of your time to explain it to you. And the guy said, no, I don't have the time to sit down and even entertain another business. I'm very busy right now doing everything I'm doing. Thank you, but I don't have the time. So he passed. Years later, he bumped back into that gentleman and found out that he passed on an opportunity to buy a franchise who no one at that time had ever heard of. This was in the state of Hawaii. And what this gentleman was going to offer him that day, he found out many years later, was the opportunity to buy the first McDonald's franchise ever in the state of Hawaii, and subsequently the rights to buy every other McDonald's that popped up within the Hawaiian Islands. Now, how much of a gold mine is that? But more importantly, ask yourself, have you ever been to a McDonald's? How many times did the owner of the McDonald's not make your fries and serve you? Obviously, the vast majority of the times. What this man did is he passed, by his own admission, on an opportunity that would have given him nothing but wealth and free time. I mean, I know several people who own various different franchises, and most of them rarely go in. If they do, they just go in to pick up the funds and make sure everyone's functioning well and they're happy. And the bottom line is it's just a nonstop stream of passive income. So this guy kept working at his job for years and years and years. He kept his company. He ended up eventually selling that company, so it didn't even get him to where he wanted to get to. And he passed on a chance to have one of the best passive incomes in the world because he was too busy to even take a look at it. So I promise you folks, very few people are too busy. If they really understood the power of geometric progression and passive income and what network marketing can do for people, no one is too busy to take a look at this. But I want to finish up by giving one of you my favorite visuals. Sometimes you get that person who maybe they're a single mom and they're working 2 jobs and they're going to school, they're doing so much and they're going, you know what? My time is full. Just like this jar. This jar is filled completely to the brim with marbles. You couldn't put another marble in here if your life depended on it. And most people would agree that it would be impossible to fit any more marbles or anything else for that matter in that jar. It would literally be impossible. It's filled to its maximum capacity. But when you think outside the box and you start doing a little something different, isn't that amazing? We could fit that full glass of water in there. There's still only that much water. We could probably fit another full glass or 2 more full glasses. So in reality, there's a lot more that could be fit into your day if you think outside the box, if you start looking at things a little bit differently, because the bottom line is if you think the way you've always thought, you'll do the things you've always done, you always get the same things in return. Now, if that's enough, no problem. But if it's not enough, you need to make a change. And let me tell you one other thing, folks. Money is nice. Having a lot of money is nice. But the best thing in the world, the wealthiest kind of person in the world is the one who has time freedom. If America's the land of the free, how many people would get up, if they had nothing else to do, they would wake up at 5 o'clock on Monday morning, go through rush hour traffic, and show up at their job at 8 o'clock in the morning? If America's the land of the free, I think a lot of people would sleep in on Mondays. I think they may not even work on Mondays. I think they'd work whenever they felt like working, but so many people are afraid to get out of the box, and many of them use the excuse that they don't have the time. Make the time to do this business, and you will have nothing but time to enjoy your life. So many Americans outside of our country, they say Americans live to work, where really we need to work to live. You can start working just so that you have enough money so you can live your life and have the time freedom you want through this industry.